Do you remember the female Baltimore Oriole I followed in late May? I shared a video of her weaving her nest over 7 days, this delicate construction that hung like a basket from the high cottonwood branches. Well, she didn't just build a home, she laid her eggs, hatched her young, and now those tiny nestlings have flown the coop. And just to pause here, if you're new to this, fledging is the term for a bird's first flight out of the nest. For the next week or two, they're called fledglings because they can't fly well. Their wings and tails are still short, and they rely on their parents for food, protection, and survival lessons. All right, back to the story. This past week, I was lucky enough to spot and film a few of the fledglings during their first days out of the nest. And today, I want to take you on that journey, from the moment the nest was finished to the day those young birds took their first flight into the world. Before I show you the adorable clips of fledglings, I want to rewind and walk you through the full arc, from nest building to fledging. So May 11th, nest building begins and lasts 7 days. Late May to early June, stealthy visits from mom as she incubates, and dad keeps watch from high perches. The interesting thing is, I even witnessed two males dueling, not on a single day, but on multiple different days. So it seemed that when two males came too close to each other's boundary, nesting boundary, they definitely had words. But then I saw these two unite and become allies when a raven flew nearby. Ravens are known nest predators, and the one you see here is definitely a familiar raven. I can tell it's a specific raven because you can see its tail looks a little funny. It is growing new tail feathers on one side, so every time this specific bird would fly by, I knew it was the same bird. June 5th, a breakthrough moment. I saw the male oriole near the nest with a mouth full of green insects. I knew at least one bird had hatched, probably more by the amount of food it was holding in its mouth. By June 11th, the feeding visits had intensified, and windy days were shaking that nest. I kept thinking to myself, what must it be like to grow up in there, having such an unstable cradle? I love this specific clip here because you can see mom is feeding, actively feeding, while dad waits his turn. There's that much food that's necessary by these little guys, and the begging calls are loud. Tells me that fledging is imminent. And indeed, the next day, the first fledgling had left the nest. But I have to say, I didn't find the fledglings in the way I expected. Something strange caught my attention. There was this loud, incessant call coming from nearby. I couldn't place it, so I pulled out my Merlin app, which is my trusty sidekick, but Merlin came up blank. The call was so loud and close I couldn't walk away. I had to know what was making that sound. After about 20 minutes, I spotted the female Baltimore Oriole flying into a tree. She had food, and then I saw her deliver it to a fledgling. That strange call, it was coming from the young bird. I was thrilled. The little one had made its way into the cottonwood nearby. It clung to a branch high in the canopy, swaying in the wind, calling out. And to my ears, it sounded a little like panic, like, "Mom, help! What do I do now?" I watched it nap, tuck its head under its wing, and occasionally go quiet, tired, no doubt, from the effort. That was fledgling number 1, but it didn't stop there. On subsequent days, I discovered 2 more fledglings, both in exactly the same strange way, with an unfamiliar, persistent call that I just had to investigate. Each fledging had a slightly different voice, a different rhythm, a different tempo, and each one was loud enough to trick me into thinking it was a much larger bird. And again, Merlin couldn't help me, but curiosity did. So I don't know exactly which fledgling came from which nest, but what matters is that they made it. They're growing, exploring, learning to be birds, and I get to share that wonder with you. And just like that, this brief but intense breeding season unfolds, with each moment easy to miss unless you're listening and watching carefully. Some moments in nature are easy to miss, not because they're quiet, but because they sound unfamiliar. However, when we stay curious, even confusion can lead to discovery. This is Birding with Kaliopi. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. And thank you, as always, for watching.